Hi, happy Sunday. I've got some things I wanted to say, so I'm going to try and take my time and not babble so much, but if I do babble, not beat myself up and take myself off track. So I'm trying to be chill. But I've got so much going through my mind, and I've had some shamanic drumming on. Listen to this. And it just gets me going, and I'm literally just moving, and it's just the most incredible thing. And it's bringing up all sorts that I need to talk about. So I did this for a long time yesterday. I listened to some of this shamanic drumming, and whoa, it was just, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. I was writing a load of things down, and I don't know, it was, you know, I intended to take the time yesterday to find out a little bit more about myself, really. You know, my fears, things that scare me. And I found that when I was sort of listing them down, they all kind of revolved around failure, you know. That's the sort of fear. It's the fear of failure, whatever that is. For me, you know, failure of being this great mother that, you know, I just know that I know that I am inside, that I know that I need to heal myself a little bit more to be able to carry that energy with me 24/7. You know, I have spouts of it, and yeah, and I want more of it. You know, this is what my life is about now. Is about me actually genuinely trying to heal myself, and so I do these videos to help myself, because it was the only thing that helped me during awakening, was to talk about it. So I've been thinking about lots of different things, and I've written a lot of things down, but I'm not going to look at it just for a second, and I'm just going to see what I want to sort of talk about first. I think it was, I want to talk about my last video, because I filmed it. You know, usually I upload something as soon as I filmed it, so it's like in real life time. I don't know why that means something to me, but it does. And that one that I posted last time, I'd filmed like a couple of days before, I think, and it had not uploaded, and I was umming and ahhing about it because I felt that my energy during that video was it was a little off. It wasn't sort of, you know, there was the problem with me is this old people pleasing pattern, and, you know, censoring myself so as not to rock the boat with anyone else's paradigm. And I'm kind of bored of it, because, you know, it's like when we have a true connection to a oneness or a divine source, a connection to perceive higher frequencies, you just you realise, or you accept, that it's all coming from you. Nothing else matters. Nobody else matters in a judgmental sense. It's like people don't need to be on the same page of anything, as long as they are healing themselves and attempting to make themselves a better person. It doesn't matter whether you believe in flat earth, it doesn't matter if you believe in the Mandela effect, it doesn't matter if you believe in CERN, and it doesn't matter if you believe in aliens or angels and demons. What you're going through is a self-awakening, a process of refining yourself. So we can show the way for others. I think that's what it feels like to me. And so that doesn't matter which ideology you buy into or what sort of page you're on. And the division continues because people are so strong within their own paradigm, even if it's a alternative theory, that it threatens their steadfast paradigm if somebody else perceives something differently. And I'm sort of like, I'm feeling like it's kind of like it's a shame that people can't sort of see this, and I think more people are coming to see this, and like certain communities are joining up together, and ideas sort of they flow through the different sciences, or the different research, I guess. So I'm looking forward to the time when everything does come together, because I feel like this is kind of what this changeover, or this sort of awakening to more that's happening to so many people is designed to do. It's so difficult because it feels like, it's like the people that are awakening, and there's no doubt about this for me, the people that are awakening are the ones that are more aware, and that means self-aware as well. And aware to what? Who knows? Frequencies, whatever it is, in my eyes, I just see it as energy. We're being exposed to more energy, more electricity, more plasma, more photonic light, more collective consciousness, more juice. We're being given more energy, and it's like it's a big deal if you're having an awakening, because we need to be these lights, refine ourselves, accept this energy and let it shine on others, because I just feel like that's what we're supposed to do, like everybody's, everybody's just trying to figure things out, and we get sort of lost in it, and it's really exciting to try and figure things out, and that's why we all keep digging, externally, and truth-seeking this, and trying to put the pieces together so stringently, because it fits our own ego, in a way. And I'm the same, I'm like, I sit every night, mulling things over and thinking, is it this, is it that? And so many videos I want to do talking about, just ponders, and I'm going to really try and support myself to do that without feeling like I have to sort of homogenise myself into someone else's paradigm, because what I was so aware of, and again, everybody's different, but I was so aware that I was controlling my reality when I awakened. So, and my refining process of going through my darkness, my shadows, my fears, was projecting situations in real life to allow me to address that within myself. And it was like quite a long journey to get to that point, At first, I did kind of feel very sort of fearful, and I felt like, you know, everything was sort of out to get me. You know what I mean, in a way. And I was sort of making my life reality story a little bit more dramatic than is comfortable. And we have the control over how we perceive our reality. And, you know, when we can heal ourselves fully, and this is what's so difficult, because if people are honest, you know, quite often I feel like I'm like pretty smug, you know, I feel like I'm sort of 70% there on this sort of balancing of the energies and acknowledging every part of the unconscious or the subconscious within me and trying to be super honest about it. And why it's difficult is because not many people do that, talk honestly about their own personal shit and how they've realised or understood or learned from someone else how to be better. Which essentially for me it's fixing your heart and your soul. And it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But this is what it feels like to me, is that Source, God, the divine oneness, the energy of everything, is pure life force energy. And we living souls, we have a direct connection to this connection that you have with, whether you call it the Holy Spirit or your own higher self or God or whatever. We people who are aware we are, you know, we're sort of head and shoulders above the rest in some respects, but yet we're still suffering so much, and we're still having to be shown these lessons so much that it tears your life down, it breaks your paradigm, it ruins your relationships. I mean, you look at things differently when you've really sort of looked into yourself, and you see how everything was put there for a reason, and things like that. Things for you to learn from. I've gone off flow a little bit. So, let me just have a look at these notes. And it's all resistance, and I think like NPCs, soulless beings. Sorry, just a sec. I'll have to look at those in a minute. NPCs, soulless beings, empty vessels, narcissists, sociopaths, whatever we want to label the energy of that person as. It's sort of life force that they're missing. It's energy. It's feeling. That's what's missing. And so I think to myself, you know, I've like, maybe like before 5 years ago, my sort of like secret wish was to be like some detective, you know, like Sherlock Holmes or some psychological profiler or something like that, you know, like Clarice. And my whole life I'd tried to sort of understand the psyche of others. Not that I studied for it, you know, or anything, but literally I just observed, and anything I watched was, you know, about observing, like things like watching people's motives on reality shows and things like that. It fascinated me. Or, you know, crime stuff. And I've always felt like I wanted to understand the mind of the fractured soul, I guess. And I've had experience with my own soul fracturing, so it's given me a personal insight. But I really do feel like we are here to not judge and to understand the unfeeling people, the darkness within us and outside of us, to understand it, and then to not judge it, not label it, not be fearful of it, to use that darkness, that projection, to heal our insides, to heal our souls and ourselves, so that we contain the life force energy, the electricity, the wisdom, the teachings, whatever it is. We emanate that from within our being when we are good and we're balanced and we're whole. And to expect that wholeness and that feel to be there 100% of the time is, it's, for me, it's a long way away. It's a very difficult journey of being so aware. Oof. So we go through the mill, and it seems even worse, and then it makes the empty shellers seem even more horrendous because they're so unaware and so opposite to us and our nature and our internal struggles and trials and tribulations to better ourselves with a new set of eyes. And then that's where labels and divisions and demonizations of things come in, because we're still fearful of ourselves, essentially. And I was thinking to myself last night, what do I want? What do I need? And the things that I wrote down are things that I'm not giving myself yet. It was like, I was like, if I'm honest, I like a bit of affirmation. When somebody's nice on a comment, I really appreciate it, and it really makes me feel better. I'm like, oh, thanks, because it just means it, because it's honest. It's like I'm trying to be honest, and so it's really amazing. But I mean, just in life, this is the feel that I would like: a bit of acknowledgement, a bit of affirmation, a bit of support, and a bit of tenderness and contact. And these are the things that I felt like I was starved as a kid, and that contributed towards self-loathing or self-confidence issues. Not to blame anything, I understand that a different soul would have had a different experience, in my situation. We all choose what we perceive and how we perceive it. I don't know where I was going there. Resistance to accept surrender, yeah, so basically, yeah, it all comes from us, and you've got no chance of changing the world if you can't really heal yourself. Because we need to show people the way, and that is to be the change, like many people say. It's to embody the life force and the love and the need of no material and the need of no negativity, no sort of warring mentality, no divide and conquer, no fear. And it doesn't matter what we believe within that makeup, as long as we believe it. It doesn't matter. I listen to so many people. I listen to Christians, I listen to spiritual people, I listen to New Age people, I listen to so many different things. I listen to scientists, I listen to everything I can get my ears on. It's It's an incredible, vast bank of knowledge that's available on the internet these days, and you get to take those bits of information and you weave them. No one else weaves those for you. You know, you're creating your reality, and you do need discernment and blocks up for your own psyche. And so for me, I do not need to focus on the dark anymore, because I don't want that in my reality. I've seen it, I had to see it, you know. Whatever my internal needed to match was what I saw on the outside, you know, in terms of coming across information about child sacrifices and, you know, all the really dark shit, the paedophile rings, the underlying web of darkness that is real, you know, no matter how big or small the scale is of it. I acknowledged that, and I acknowledged the, you know, what the darkest of the dark that I could within me, and then I decided to let it go, you know. It's not my job. My job is to shine my light in a different way, and all of our jobs are to shine our light in a different way, our own way. We are all anyone who feels like they have a soul. We are all just an individual fragment of life force energy of God. We are God's children. We have life force within us. We have feeling within us. This is what it is. And so feeling and emotion and empathy, these are things that we've felt, but now we're learning how to embody. And once we learn how to embody these energies and detach ourselves from anything, you know, as much as we can anyway, we can teach others then. We can show people the light, show people the way, show people how to heal, show people what you need to look at in your mind, what might help you get there in terms of, you know, therapy or certain psychedelics or meditation and yoga or shamanic drumming or, you know, art, whatever it is, frequency music. There's all these exciting different ways now that are being found. We need to find our own ways and embody it and draw and create our own new paradigm, which is the most beautiful, intricate, incredible thing you can do for yourself, which affects everybody else around you. You know, the lights, it's like the life force, the God, the everything. And it's we're connected to it. However many of us people are on this sort of path now and we're awakening, we're part of this life force, this God source divine energy, and we have a larger light, like a spotlight, that we can, you know, we can grow and pulsate and we can affect things from, you know, the realness of co-creating like reality, the whole feel of us being energy generators. And yeah, like we need to heal and fix ourselves and address every part of our own darkness, our own shittiness, our own jealousy and resentment, like MJ was talking about this morning, our own need for everybody to be on the same page as us, for everyone to vibe with us, you know. I quite often feel like anxiety when I post a video. I'm like, ooh, is anyone going to resonate? And then it's like, really, it doesn't matter. I'm doing this for myself. And, you know, I learn from watching myself back on these fucking videos. And I really think everyone should do it, you know. I don't need anybody else to believe in my paradigm, because the paradigm is irrelevant as long as the intent is good. So we've all got our different purposes, and I love it. And some of us souls are stronger, and they're built to address the darkness. You know, I'm not one of those. I don't feel like, you know, I will stand up for anything I think in until the day I die. But I'm not more. I'm more of a speaker than a. You know, I don't want to get involved in sort of political or any of that crap, because I do think that it's a distraction, and life, although I don't feel like it is, you know, a simulation in the way that people would assume or imagine, there is there's something to it in the way that we can control things. So it's exciting. So anyway, I've been going on for 25 minutes now. Maybe I should just do a different one. No, I'll just carry on. So the battle is with a parasitic energy that wants life force. And so people are unconscious of this, because how I kind of feel is that empty vessels and NPCs or soulless people, they are to be viewed with compassion, if you can muster it up in you. I know it's hard. And again, you know, this is compassion for the narcissist, the sociopath, the one carrying such need to not feel. And so I feel like that happens during a fracturing of the soul. And when your soul is fractured, your heart doesn't work, and the heart is the battery. It's the generator that pumps the blood, which I feel like is the human life force around the body, and you know, radiates and vibrates and emits frequency and creates an electromagnetic field around your body, which can alter consciousness and matter, I think, you know, if focused correctly. So I feel like, you know, that's kind of what's happening subconsciously and consciously in darker things, you know, I'm not sure, but there's something in the blood, and I've been saying this since I woke up, and again, I know this is just my paradigm, my reality, my downloads, my need to look at myself, but I don't care. Like I said, the idea is to be your true self and to be authentic without fear of judgment of others, or need to be accepted or applauded for your own thoughts, you know. So I feel like there's something in the blood, and I feel like the blood is the life force, the energy, the electricity. In particular, the Rhesus negative blood. And so I was a bit disappointed with how I spoke in my last video, because although that was a part that I needed to address, it wasn't the full trueness. I don't feel like I'm a reptilian bitch at all. And I know I said that there, but I feel like I was sort of being self-deprecating and trying to protect myself when I didn't need to be. Like, my view and my feel inside and from looking at external things is that there's something different in the Rhesus negative blood, which I feel like is just a little bit more electricity or a little bit more life force or connection to life force. And I don't mean to sound superior, because I don't think I think this is like a genetic marker that can be switched on or off, and potentially manipulated and used for bad things. And it was interesting because I watched a couple of things yesterday and I was like, yeah, so I feel like this is true, and I'd really got sort of a bee in my bonnet and a chip on my shoulder, and I was a little bit triggered during my last video because I don't want Rhesus negative people to be demonised, because I think it's all backwards, and the agenda is there to separate, segregate, label as aliens or demons or whatever, reptiles, blood-sucking reptiles and all this crap, it's like, it's different. So I felt like I needed to sort of get that point out. And yesterday, when I dropped the kids off, I watched this video and it was 2.5 hours long, but it's so worth watching if anybody's Rhesus negative on here. And it just summed it all up beautifully. She speaks incredibly about the things that have been on my mind, and she includes pieces that I've looked into before, like the Ark of the Covenant and the electrical nature and the covering of gold and the certain people that had to that could only be around it, and the connection to the Levite priests and the Rhesus negative blood, and all this was sort of touched upon in this video that I'm going to put downstairs, down in the description box. It was bloody brilliant, and so it really made things a lot clearer for me, and it was what I needed to sort of go, right, okay, I don't need to look outside anymore, I feel like it made much sense. Yeah, so, and again, it's like, does it even matter? It doesn't even matter, but to me it does. So I'm not going to go into details about what mattered to me during this video, but I'll put the link down below if anybody's interested. Yeah, so, and I saw something about the Ark of the Covenant this morning, and before I turn this page, basically, narcissists are starved of feeling, life force, emotion. They've been traumatized and they've felt unloved, and they've been cut off from that divine source, that Holy Spirit, that connection to more, because of trauma. And their sort of empty vessels attracts and tries to suck life force, however that manifests in an individual's behaviour. And, it could be invisible, just invisible energy. And I think that's what is portrayed as demons or entities, or, the idea of the sort of the dark sort of dementors sucking, it's pretty unconscious in most people, I think, and pretty normal. Like, and one of these things that I looked at yesterday, it was like 1 in 3 people class themselves as a narcissist. And I think it's something that we can heal. I do. Like, I think we can help people heal. But we really need to be healed ourselves and authentic in the lessons to be able to pass that on and to emit the energy and the electricity, the life force, the healing properties, whatever it is, the gifts that you feel you are learning and that you can sort of help people with in the future. And it sounds, when I say that, I always think, shut up, you sound like, but I just mean in real life, like when I'm feeling good and love and balance. And I've spoken about it in a couple of videos before, when you're really embodying this sort of wholeness, like, it's incredible. And my personal journey, like I said, is integrating the divine feminine. I've always been so ingrained in the typically masculine energies and traits, not been around many females. My family's very small, and my mum was starved of affection from her mum, and so she wasn't very, I didn't feel she was very sort of tactile with me, and I was never tactile as a person. It was uncomfortable, and I was frigid and private, and, you know, and all that. So what I'm learning is how to embody the divine feminine that is tactile, and I am like that, but it's something that I've had to learn, like, genuinely, like, even with my own kids, everything gets better every day, you know. I'm like, it's not that I've never done the cuddles and the kisses and the feels and the all that, and I've always had the typically sort of protective nature and the realness of the responsibility, but they would be sort of fatherly traits, you know. But I've always had those in abundance, you know, those feels. But to sort of feel the love has been something that I've had to work on, you know, to while I'm giving the hug, to feel the hug and the love, you know, to actually be in that moment, to be completely present is the present, you know. That's the gift. And we're just so distracted and taken away by every single thing these days, and technology and AI is a big thing, and we can use it for the good, but it's the biggest tempt for the bad, to take you away from the present moment of feeling, which is life force. And although you can get something, you can feel something by listening to somebody else's things, it never feels as good as when you can genuinely feel your own, you know? It's incredible. So this is my journey, you know. I'm integrating the feminine, the divine feminine, the embodiment of all that is feminine, you know, creativity, creation, sexuality in a way, but, you know, not involving another, just this sort of, this internal feel of the sexual creative energy within you. And, like, that's hard for me to say, because, like, I've never been one to talk about anything, like, with anybody. I've kept, you know, on that front, you know, I couldn't sit down and, you know, talk about blowjobs and shit with anybody. I would just be like, oh, fucking, you know, go away, you tacky bastards. But I'm starting to sort of, you know, look into my own sexual energy. That's as far as I could put it. And it's powerful, you know, and I think that's potentially what demonized the feminine, you know, and shunned her and her energy of life force creation off somewhere else, you know. The whole suppression of the feminine energy, the casting out of, you know, just the Mary Magdalene, Eve, Lilith, all that, you know. It's like, and the Jezebel spirit and all that, and these are completely real things that you can hold within you, that you have to acknowledge, you know, how you use your sexuality, how you've used it in the past, how you've got to sort of really be honest with yourself to understand these energies. And it's fucking super interesting. But so yeah, I'm embodying this in a different way, not just the sexual energy or anything like that, but just the oneness, the wholeness, the balance and the integration, and just understanding. And I'm just feeling like, I don't know, parasitic energy, the battle, that's what the battle is. It's with parasitic energy, it's with energy that needs life force, automatic energy. And And everything in our lives is designed to drain the life force from us. And this video that I'll put down below, I thought explained quite a lot. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And then, so I watched this thing about the Ark of the Covenant this morning as well, and some people on the video, you know, in the comments, they're talking about how we had to take, you know, once houses were covered in lead or aluminium, and then we were told it was dangerous and we had to take it down, and people were sort of pondering whether they could have actually protected us from dangerous energies. And, you know, now we have direct exposure to damaging frequencies. When you look into fluoride as well, that's interesting, and obviously how that's in the water, but how it was first discovered in the 1800s, and it was putting an electrical current through a compound, you know, can't remember, fluoride, hydrogen or something like that. But you know, the interaction with electricity produced this gas, and the fluorine gas was so damaging, so powerful that, you know, it killed somebody during research, and it's, you know, it was used to inscribe glass and you know, to put patterns into glass, or to, you know, so basically powerful devices which control electrical current and energy life force have been hidden and manipulated, and they probably always have been, and they'll be played with now. And so things are interesting, yeah. The Ark of the Covenant, and you know, pondering what was inside it, and whether that is to do with cataclysms on Earth, and you know, the whole sky feels like more of an electrical nature, and you see, or I see and perceive, you know, more sort of ultraviolet lights, and so the spectrum of the human perception seems to be widening in my fields, and so that is just a frequency, that is a waveform, isn't it? Ultraviolet being higher than violet, and you know, infrared being lower than red, and so it's revealing more. So again, like I said, I don't know what causes this. I think it's things in the heavens that we have no idea of, but how I feel is that God, divine light source, is pouring more life force energy down on us. We're integrating it and emanating it, and it's all of an electrical nature. And so, wow, isn't the world interesting? For fuck's sake, you know. But anyway, it all ties into electricity, blood, pyramids, life force energy, organite, ley lines, old megalithic structures, churches being receivers of electrical energy, and everybody else being cut off from that life energy force through controllers, religion, you know, money, whatever, you know, greed, power. So, who knows? But basically, regardless of bloody blood group, we each, if we are a soul and we're living and we're alive and we're here on this on this plane, and we're feeling these feelings, and we're trying to help ourselves, and we're into truther communities or fucking spiritual communities or flat earth communities or whatever, that should be no issue of anybody else's. We are given these things to test ourselves, to match the darkness within, and to find the way to transmute it. So you find your own darkness, whether that's through rabbit holes or relationships or life experiences or God knows, whatever it is, you match it, you find your own, and it will, it will show you the lesson. Everything's mirrors and projections, isn't it? Smoke and fucking mirrors. But basically, yeah, I feel like we are to be grateful and gracious and, honest about these crazy times and this sort of connection to higher life force energy, divine source, God, and you can have the free will and the right to express that however you want, and it doesn't matter what you focus on. If you're somebody who focuses and pumps out negativity, that's fine. That's you learning your own lesson somewhere, not to say again you always have to be miss fucking positive and love and light, because that's bollocks as well, and people feel the bullshit in that, and that is why they feel resentment and they pull away from spiritual communities. I've felt myself doing that a little bit recently, just like sort of in a way like jog on. Like everybody is free to say and do what they want, and they should. I don't like homogenising, and I don't like, just because somebody speaks louder or, appears a bit more assertive or threatening even, that, it means that you have to dive into their paradigm. It's like, guys, we are all one. We are all one individual spotlight of life source, it all, and we get to shine our spotlight on what and however we want, whenever we want. That is our free will and divine right, and so it's a responsibility, do what you want with it, but make sure it's authentic and your light will shine brighter. Fucking hell, this is the longest one I've done in ages. I had a fear of being demonized. It's still kind of there. That's why this chippy trigger thing came along with the reptilian Rhesus negative sort of agenda. Yeah, I just sort of imagine that like that's us, they're us, those tiny dots at the bottom, and we can make these big spotlights, and all these people down there, they're just poor recipients of no life force energy. They are NPCs or narcissists. They're stuck in the grid down at the bottom. They're cut off from this because their souls are fractured and the hearts are broken. And so, yeah. So it's interesting, yeah, but we completely need to be as sovereign as we can, and that is to be as true to ourselves as we can. So say what you want. If you've got a channel, say what you want. It's amazing. It's amazing to hear everybody's true, authentic perspective and perception, and it shouldn't matter whether we resonate or not. The ones that do will find you, and the ones that do, they feel the energy and the truth of somebody. They don't have to believe what they're saying, and they don't have to listen to their things and get them to, it's like we're all different individual aspects and interpretations of it all. That's the beauty of it. So let's respect and not judge any of our brothers and sisters, as people say, especially ones that are brave enough to speak out and to be true to themselves. So anyway, yeah, I had so much thinking last night. It was just incredible. So I'm going to put Gary Warmaden's video down last night about the narcissist, because I was just feeling that at the same time as he posted it, and I found the link to the shamanic drumming through his page. I really like the way he speaks about things, so if you've not subscribed, go and have a look if you want to. But yeah. So I just, last night I was just like, what does light look like in you? What does the light look like in me? How do I see and perceive the light? And it's a feeling of peace, joy, love. It's laughter, welcoming, trusting, creativity, vulnerability, integrity, honesty, compassion, remorse, moral standards. You know, these are all feelings that give you light, that give you energy. They're sort of acceptances and acknowledgements. And then I was like, what does the dark look like inside you? It's like jealousy, hate, envy, fear, deception, pride, ego, cold, detracted, distracted, disengaged, detached, preoccupation, anxiety, anger, certain types of lust, you know. And it's like, these are all sort of these are all feelings, you know. It's fucking crazy. We're so distracted and detracted and cut off from our sense of self, our realisation that we are just one part of it all and we are all one, you know. We're so detached from that notion. And us poor bastards that are having a fucking awakening, it's sickening, it's so difficult, it's so hard. And, you know, the other people that are not ready, or they're not willing to look at their own shadow and their own shit, and, you know, they're not ready, their cognitive dissonance is way up, the fucking walls are up, the projections are on, they're ready to ridicule you and mock you and make you feel bad, or, you know, whatever. They're all there in force because they just can't bear to look inside. It doesn't even matter, you know, what the actual reason for these awakenings are at the moment. You know, this is our opportunity to heal ourselves. Like the Holy Spirit is being poured down on the land. We're receiving energy, life force, God knows, gold, whatever. Like we're getting these fucking upgrades, and it's amazing. But it's a shame, you know, that the ones that are so aware and feel so bad on themselves all the time are still head and shoulders above the ones that have not yet opened their eyes. But when we finally heal ourselves, we can, you know, we can do what we innately wanted to do our whole lives, which is heal everybody else, and with nothing more than just being that balanced recipient of life force energy. And detaching from the as much as you can. Anyway, right, I'm going. God, I wonder if anyone will listen to the end. When I looked at my analytics, it says that most viewers, like the average amount of time that someone listens to my things is like 6 minutes, and I'm like, oh shit, you know. But I don't trust those analytics because it says that I've got 100% of my audience is female and 100% is between the age of 28 and 35, and I just know that's not true because I communicate with males. So I don't trust that shit. And also I've noticed figures moving, you know, views, likes, subscribers, things like that. And I tend to think, I don't tend to think it's like because I'm dropping truth bombs, they're trying to control me. I tend to think it's like, it's just another sort of show that everything is bollocks to me, you know, that nothing is real, like analytics, viewers, you know, whatever. It's like you feel the realness of things and then you feel the automation of things as well, don't you? Like generators of comments or AI bots, or, you know, not necessarily on my channel but on many people's channels that I've seen, you know. Oh, the trolls, the bloody trolls. We should have compassion for the trolls, because what a life to lead, you know. It must be horrendous to have no feeling and to have to act out a feeling. Imitate. That's what AI is. Imitations, and no matter how deep that gets, whether that's cloning or AI simulation or NPCs, whatever. It's a copy and paste world, isn't it? And there's a few sort of originals here to change things, I think. And that's super exciting. So, whatever. Anyway, May the 5th today. I felt the force yesterday. Honestly, fucking hell, it was intense for me yesterday, and I'm feeling like today. Oh, thank God I've got some off my mind, and I've not said what I wanted to say because I could literally talk for hours. I wrote all night, and God knows. Basically, it's all about feeling. Life force is feeling, energy, electricity. If you can feel that within yourself, genuinely feel it within yourself, for yourself, not for anybody else, but just for yourself to begin with, it will manifest in reality. So that's brilliant to know. And it feels right, so Right, I'm going to try and find those links I mentioned now. And now I've seen some more, I'm like, anyway, whatever. I think I kind of feel like, for me personally, I don't want to pick a camp, and I don't appreciate it when I sort of allow myself to feel like I need to be part of a camp as well. We should all march to the beat of our own drums with nothing but good intentions, and so the difference between paradigms and ideologies and belief systems is all just a different interpretation of God, and that's all it is. And if you're looking for a bad guy, you'll find one. Whether that's spiritual community and some sort of dark entity agenda, or if it's Illuminati and child molesters and bloodsuckers, or if it's actual fallen angels and demons for, your religious ideology. Whatever it is, it's like you're creating that, and you can eradicate the nemesis and strengthen your connection to source, I think, Sometimes I say things as if I fucking know anything, and I don't, but anyway, at least I've said what I wanted to. Get some shamanic drumming on now. So good. Woo! 58 minutes. Fucking hell, I can chat shit. Right, have a lovely Sunday. Be authentic, be true. Don't give anybody else any shit. Everyone's at their own level, and being gracious is difficult to get to without acknowledging your own shit and laying it all on the table. So for me, I'm just going to keep on working. I've got a lot of things that I am working to fix about myself. I'm still a big old wreck, really, but 100% away from the despair and darkness of fractured soul, you know. Righty hoes, I'm going. Have a good day. Bye.